Hello, hello, welcome. It is Wonderful Women Wednesday. Yes, you heard it. That's what I'm going to call every Wednesday moving forward. I guess it's also because Mom Link has showed up consistently for the last almost 3 years every Wednesday on Clubhouse. For our famous Connect and Collab networking room, where we bring female entrepreneurs together to network, connect, collaborate, and literally revolutionize the way women do business one collaboration at a time. So, yeah, today is Wonderful Women Wednesday, and I'm here joined with one of the wonderful women from our community, Brooke Ranvac. She is your way shower, and we are here jumping on this live, collaborating with each other to talk about self care and self love for women, moms. You know, it is Mother's Day this weekend, one of my favorite days of the whole year. And it's also Mental Health Awareness Month. And I think a great conversation in talking about women and moms around self-care and self-love is definitely something we needed to bring to our Mom Link platforms and share with all of our members and our viewers. And who best to have this conversation with than our way shower, Brooke Ranvac. So welcome, Brooke.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so excited for whatever is to come.
Well, we're going to do a little bit of like diving in deep, getting to know Brooke. Brooke has been one of our OG original members of the Mom Link since day one, a huge supporter of women supporting women in business. She's an entrepreneur, a mom herself. And Brooke and I actually just had a huge conversation around what is really self care and what is this commercialized self care push that we've been seeing in the last few years for moms and women specifically, and the pressures that have come with this commercialized push of what does self care look like. And actually, instead of doing what's it intended to do, which is alleviate some stress, alleviate some pressures from women and moms, and instead offer an opportunity to rejuvenate and refuel and fill her cup back up. We had a conversation, right, Brooke, about how society has kind of commercialized this. Now the pressures of buying yourself a pedicure, so you make sure you're checking off your self-care bucket lists, right? And we talked about how that is a little bit getting absurd, right? It's almost putting a pressure on top of another pressure that already existed. And so Brooke really dives in deep about how self care can actually be a lot more simple, less stressful, less pressure added that you need to go and do what self care looks like. And there's actually very creative ways and outside of the box ways of thinking on what self care looks like for women. So I just want to jump right into it. Brooke, tell us about first, you are the way shower.
Yes.
The way shower, you work with other females, other moms. Tell us a little bit about the work that you do. Why do you have this passion for really helping women understand this new way of self-care and self-love with the work that you do in your clients?
Yeah, oh my gosh. So the reason, so here's the thing where I'm at today. I have been moving so rapidly just because of the effects of COVID, I would say, are really becoming present right now with the mental health. And because mental health for me is so much more than the mainstream mental health. To me, mental health is almost not where when you have mental health issues, you get mental health issues one way, but how you get out of those mental health issues is a completely different way. So, yes, self care and self love is critical, but for me, what has opened up more is the spiritual part, is really why why take care of yourself, why have this self love, right? Well, in the material world, it makes things even worse, right? This self-love, self-care needs to look like this, needs to look like that. And then of course we're bombarded with the marketing, right? And so originally when I started with the self-love mentality, what is so funny is I started with it and then I lost it. And then I lost it. And when I found it again, I was like cleaning my office and doing things. I was like, oh my God, this is the problem. I have not been treating myself with this self love. And then I was like, oh my God, thank God I lost it because now I'm never going to lose it again now that I found it. But with that being said, during COVID, I was writing a course, and I was pouring myself into this energetics course. And, as an entrepreneur and you're creative, like you give everything to what you were doing. And then at the end of the day, I'd be so angry at myself because I wasn't drinking enough water. I wasn't doing the things that my body needed me to do to be able to withstand what my creative self was doing. So that is when I really started to get down to the simple things, a simple self love checklist. And I just asked myself, okay, what makes my body feel amazing when I do the same things every day? What is that? Well, it's actually quite simple. And it's and with me, one of my biggest paradigms that I am all about is the more change somebody needs, the less they can handle. But at the same time, it's the little things that really make the big things, or the little hinges swing big doors. And so if you are consistently drinking water, like that's my number one goal, like every single day. If I'm not drinking enough water, then nothing else in my life even matters. Right? Like the we evolve through water, like our lives really
And
yeah, we have to have water. Okay, so simple fruits and vegetables, being outside, things like that. But it was after I created a habit of it, right? Of doing it really, really consistently, is when I started to actually experience self love. And yeah, those are self-care acts, right?
mm,
Unfortunately, they're not just freaking things we do. That's why we need a checklist, right? Because if we would be just doing them, then we would, right? But to have them visually in front of us and that's what it literally all comes down to, that. So in order for anybody to do the deep work that I actually do with women on the spiritual level, on the inner child level, timeline work, things like that, in order to be able to go through that process of healing, you have to have a foundation of taking care of your physical body as though it was your number one job every single day. And your kids
ooh.
do what you do, not what you say.
Brooke, Brooke, you just said something that I really enjoyed, and that's very unique in the coaching realm. In those who work with, um, spiritual work, inner child work, clearing of energy. I really like how you say this has to happen before we jump into that. And I think that's a really unique approach to coaching and working one on one with individuals, because oftentimes, we'll just jump in and we don't ask those questions. Are you already doing just the foundational things like drinking water? And it's funny when you said about the drinking water. When I tell myself I didn't drink water, I almost have a guilty association with it. It's now turned into like going to the gym. Oh, I'm supposed to go to the gym. That's what I'm supposed to do, right? And the drinking of water, it's like I'm supposed to because of all those things, which is all correct. The working out is amazing for you and drinking water is amazing for you. But what you said about the water, it's not because it's amazing for and you should do it and it's your healthcare check, but it's actually like it's what you need to fuel your creativity. And if we actually shift the way we think about it, instead of me looking at, I should drink a gallon of water a day and go work out every day, instead, what if I shifted my mind to actually receive the drinking water as what I need to be able to be my creative self, what I need to be able to do the work I need to get done today? So I like that you put that spin on it. And I like that you say, in order for you to work with somebody, you need to know some of those foundational pieces are in place, that they're doing some of those pieces, because how are you going to clear energy if there's no like water flowing through somebody's body to keep them hydrated, to, feel, for them to sustain what the work that you're going to be able to do with them, right? So I like that you say that.
Yeah. Ultimately, when you do that deeper work, you're actually releasing toxins out of your cells. So if you don't have the foundational things to move those toxins through your body, then it actually is chaotic in your system. So now you released all of these inner child, oh my God, lifetimes of work, everything. And it's like all chaos in your body right now versus being stuffed and stored away. So that can be very, very confusing because ascension symptoms is what you can find out there. You get sick, like flu sick. You get fatigued. You question everything because here you are putting yourself in this position to release these toxins. Why? Because we're called to, right? As our spiritual selves, but you can't move toxins through your body if you don't have the water to do it.
I am like, okay, so this is, I swear, this is like, this live was supposed to happen. We were actually supposed to have this live before and we rescheduled it for today. It's so interesting how some things fall into place and there's timing for everything. And I'm not one that has always used that line in my life. I've really evolved and really, tapping into this side of myself. I actually just did a Reiki session. Never done that in my life. I've never even been open to the idea of cleansing our spiritual and our energies and our, like, I have no knowledge or language around that. This is very new, something I just tried. And it's funny because yesterday, so it was a few days ago, Brooke, and um yesterday I started really trying to bring up my water intake, but I was feeling like some physical responses, and I'm like, well, maybe it's just because I'm tired and I need to sleep more. But I wasn't actually thinking, I just did all this work, cleared all these energy out, and I need to, you're right, I need to be drinking some water to flush it out, because when we do it to detox, what are we doing? We're flushing out our system. So, can you talk to us about when you do this type of work? Like, tell me, what are some of those side effects that you would say, like you were saying, some can be illness or whatnot. Like, I'm just fascinated by this because I don't think we think about, detoxing. We're really quick to go and do a juice
Yeah.
cleanse. I've never in my life thought about doing a spiritual or a energy cleanse. Like, that's nothing that has ever crossed my mind. You're probably like, "What? What do you mean? You've been living under a rock,
No,
Crystal."
you haven't. You've been living in the world. There's just enough of us now that is actually doing this work where we can be a way shower, where we can be a leader. And so where I come in as a way shower is exactly where you're talking about, is those ascension symptoms. And so it was about 4 years ago. A little bit about me: I used to be like a huge gym rat, major ego, like all of it, right? So 10 years of hardcore hours and hours in the gym. And then when I started to open up to this new type of healing, my body couldn't handle that. My body could not handle that type of movement and pressure and things like that. And so I actually created what is called Hit Sweat Sesh. And I have been doing live workouts for 4 years now. And so these live workouts specifically, not because I'm a personal trainer, but because of the visualization process. When somebody sees somebody's doing something, there's science behind it. You start to feel like you're doing it too, which helps with habit loops and helps people get motivated to do their own workouts. So that's where I show my workouts. But what makes what I do so different is I show up every single day as a human going through those the ascension process and the ascension symptoms. And it looks ugly. It looks ugly someday, but I show it every day. And so in my Ascension Daily, which is just what I created as I started to step into the spiritual awakening therapies with my business, I have a daily show on YouTube now. And I come on and I just share what is really going on with me that day as this way shower, as somebody who is doing crazy things in the normal world, and I'm having to function while playing in the cosmos and then coming and being a mom in this real life, real world, right? And if you know, like after you get to know me, you'll be like, I want to go play in the cosmos too. But ultimately, we're working with energy. So being able to find ways to be able to work with those energies from up here to down here, it takes our physical body. It takes our physical body to move these things through and evolve. So if you were to see me working out, you would be like, she's doing nothing. I can't believe that. Like, you're 5. Like, I have so much muscle on my body, I don't even know where it comes from. And I just really mean that because things are changing, things should change, right? And but what I'm doing is I am evolving my nervous system. I have high intensity interval training that you wouldn't know that I was through the roof because I'm there like this. So it's being able to expand and evolve the nervous system. And essentially that's what it comes down to is the energies. Now, because our nervous system is not able to handle as much light, and that's where people, like, when you feel really excited or really good, for me for instance, that's when I would have the highest anxiety, when I'd be excited. So then I need some champagne or something to calm down. I still roll that way, but at least I know the energetics behind it, right? And so that is what I bring to everything. That is what I show people with my workouts. That's what I show people with Ascension Daily. And I can only do that because I have the specific practices in place to be able to,
Do that work. Yeah.
yeah.
And so, Brooke, for anybody who's watching or you'll be catching the replay, if you're interested in Brooke's YouTube channel and seeing a little bit of what she's talking about and what she's been sharing over on YouTube, Brooke, after this live, please go ahead and put in the comment section your YouTube channel so we can also subscribe, support, because that's what the Mom Link's all about. We're all about supporting each other in business, in our lives. So make sure to subscribe to Brooke's channel, watch and give her a like and a follow over there, and comment and let her know what you think about what she's sharing on YouTube and the work that she is doing. So let's turn this conversation a little bit around, Brooke, and let's talk about some really practical, non-commercialized, like self-care, self-love tips, just like you said, recognizing that drinking water is what you need to do, especially as entrepreneurs. We are creative beings. I think entrepreneurship, majority of us are very creative souls, right? And it takes a lot of energy to do that type of work and to output the type of work. And so I'd love for you to share some of those tips. You know, Brooke and I, again, we had this conversation about, like, it can be as simple as like vacuuming your house. If you're feeling frustrated and like sucking up the dirt is going to make you feel good, that is self-love. Like, that can be self-care. So Brooke, I'm going to throw you that mic and I want to hear from you. Like, what are some of these tips? What were some of the moments that you realized in life this is actually self-care and self-love, and I wasn't identifying it as such.
Yeah. Well, it really comes down to the things that we want to do. We want them done, but we don't really want to do them, right? Like vacuuming it or laundry. Oh, it'd be nice if it was done, but we don't want to do it. But if we can have just a second to after the laundry's done and have a full body experience of what it feels like to have that laundry done. One, we're gonna actually probably go get the laundry done instead of having this like thought like it's hell. What it is an opportunity to just be like, I don't know how long I'm going to be folding my kids' clothes. I'm going to touch them. I'm going to experience this experience because I get to. I know it sounds cheesy. It sounds so cheesy.
No, it doesn't. It's a mindset shift. And it's crazy because you know what, Brooke? Anything that we have to do, that we think about it like, oh, I've got to go and do that laundry. But you're right. What if, because the laundry's got to get done, even if you hate it, if you like it, if you don't, whatever, if you dread it, it's going to get done and it's probably going to get done by you. But I think what you're saying, Brooke, and which is so important, and it's that mind, it's, I think we think about the tangibles in life and the things that are here, and you're talking about the actual energetic like exchange. And when you're complete, when you're doing that laundry, there are moments like when I'm folding my little kid's t-shirt and I know it's his favorite t-shirt, there's something that happens there, but I'm not acknowledging it in the moment. And there is an energy exchange that's happening, right? By that visualization. Or even how I feel once the laundry is actually all done and put away. Energetically, you actually feel great, even though if you didn't feel like doing it. It's like going to the gym. You know, when people say go to the gym and then when you come out, you're like, oh my God, I'm so glad I went to the gym. I think we get that with all the things that we do, right? And I think, is that what you're kind of saying, is like we
Absolutely.
tap into the energy?
Thing that's going to clear space for you. Because I know it's so cheesy when I start with somebody, the very first session I have with them, I have them go declutter like a drawer or a purse. And I work with A-type personalities. They're like, I'm gonna do it all. I'm like, no, you're not. You're
Yeah.
just and what and I just it gives you that opportunity. So I recommend this to everybody. What do you see every single day? Shoes. Oh my God, I'm going to clean those up. You go about your life. It's still there. You walk by them again. Oh my God, I got to clean those shoes. And you never do it. But if you just go take 5 minutes and clean those shoes up, you're going to be like, every time you walk by them, then you're going to be like, yeah, oh my God, I didn't know how much space, time, and energy that was taking up inside me that now I have. And so in that instance, that energy surge, you created yourself. So it came from within. But it is the same exact energy surge that someone would get if they got a raise. Doesn't last either, right?
Yeah.
But one came from outside, one came from inside, right? So we have so much more power and so much control, more control when we start to do these little things by seeing. Do you see how that little thing would make such a gigantic difference in your whole day?
Yeah, 100%. And you know, I was envisioning in my head, I was like, I was gonna ask you, I'm like, is it okay if, okay, because moms, as a mom, let's spin this on motherhood. So moms, I feel like, gosh, we already have so many jobs, 1 million jobs in the household, as a mom, with our kids, you name it. It's like that laundry list of items, to-do list in our brains that I feel like nobody else really sees. And people, a lot of times, I think you hear like, oh, well, you just have to do this, this, and this. And in your brain, moms are like, are you kidding me? I have 1,000 things, right? But nobody sees the list, so nobody gets it, right? Is it okay if we took the shoes and threw them in the bag and put them away and got them out of our space? Would that do the same thing? You're like, no,
No,
Crystal,
it's really not about uh
decluttering.
Right. And so here is the thing that you say that. I found myself, there was a time when I had so much time, but in my mind, I kept saying, I don't have enough time. And it was an excuse to not spend time with my kids. And I got so angry at myself, like, just get this shit taken care of, because that's such a lie. But it wasn't, because it, anything out here is all from within here. So
Mm,
it is more important for your energy to take the time to clean them up. Really.
you're right. No, that is such a true answer. And do you know what's funny? Okay, so um and not to go off topic here, but this is very interesting. Anya, who's also an energy, she does some energy work. She's part of our community as well. I heard this statement on Clubhouse one day, and it was around like if you want your partner to do something and they didn't do it, but it makes you happy, like cleaning the dishes and it didn't get done. And she was like explaining in this way, like instead of going to argue or be like to like get upset and da da da, it's something energetically. And I wasn't understanding it in the moment. She's like, it's something that makes you happy, and then the energetic result it gives you, right? Because that's why you wanted it done. It irritates you to see that there, just like your example of walking by those shoes, right? And my rebuttal to you was like, I was thinking in my head, like, put it in a bag and put it away, or I'm going to get my kids to do it. But what you're pushing back on is like that those shoes are actually what you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, is those shoes were actually pulling away from me. Those shoes were actually affecting me energetically. So if I get to do that, I reap the reward of that surge of the energy that's coming. Like you said, just like when you get a raise, right? Um, it feels different when you get the raise as opposed to your partner or somebody else getting the raise. Am I on the right track here?
Yes, and the biggest thing is you would be surprised, because that is where God is found. Right in that moment where you take the opportunity to stop flipping complaining in your head and just start doing, right? And what happens in that moment is, not only do you get an energy surge, but that energy surge comes from God, right? You're like co-creating at that moment instead of just like fighting. These are the simple things. This is why we are here, is literally to do these simple things. Yes, have a purpose, but really to take care of our surroundings. And when we do it with a certain type of energy, we get a reward.
So, okay, I love this, Brooke. I love this conversation. So, would you say to anybody listening in, would you say those shoes, if they don't bother you, then don't pick that as the thing, then leave them?
Yeah, yeah.
Because you're talking about being rewarded here, doing acts of self love for that reward. And it's like you're rewarding yourself. So if those shoes aren't bothering you, leave the shoes there. Go pick something that you're going to get the reward from, that is genuinely completing something. And I think we can relate this to entrepreneurship too. And I love that you hit it there. And this is where we'll end the conversation today, is about doing the work, right? And I think a lot, when we see people disappointed or frustrated in entrepreneurship, we're looking for others to do the work.
Yeah.
But if actually somebody came into your business, Brooke, you might say right now, yeah, that'd make me a heck of a lot happy. If somebody came in, injected all the money, blew up your business, you did none of it. You did none of it. You just sat there and pretended like you did it all. Would you reap the benefits of the reward?
Obviously, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing.
You're like, Crystal, yeah, I would, because my business would make all this money. Well, eventually, because you take the money and you do something with it, right? So of course, right? But in the moment, to know the gratification and the reward of doing the work to get that energy back to you, I think that's why entrepreneurship can be so rewarding, right? Is we are doing the thing that like literally fuels our soul and gives us that. And so I hope I related that well to
No,
entrepreneurship.
and what is very critical is because we feel that way as entrepreneurs, we slack on taking care of ourselves because we're getting that fulfillment over here. But you cannot be who you truly want to be as an entrepreneur if you don't have this surge of love, right? Like just
Mhm.
that taking care of yourself, you feel loved. But why would you feel loved? Because you're connecting to your source when you take care of yourself and the things around you. And so you will be rewarded much more in your creativity as an entrepreneur if you just do these other things that we really don't want to do. I'm not going to say I want to do any of that, but especially when I don't want to do it and I do it, that is when I'm like, oh
It
my God,
is
I get a download and I'm like, all right, let's go.
It is so true, Brooke. I never actually thought about it that way, but you're right. It does feel good when there's something that's been like hanging over our heads. In entrepreneurship, we even do this in our work, right? We avoid the things that we don't want to do, right? And if you were to just actually do them, the surge of like, oh my God, it feels so good when you actually do it, right?
Yeah,
And I don't think we recognize or attribute that to being a benefit to succeeding as an entrepreneur when we do those things that we don't want to do, right? And we all have those things we don't want to do, but there's no denying. I do not want to make lunch every day for my kids because it is hard to figure out what lunches to pack every single day. But every single day when I make the lunch, I feel like you feel that like, okay, I made their lunch, right? Like I did that, and you get that, and it's the small little things, right? And I think same goes for entrepreneurship. Don't get me wrong, I want to feed my kids, but making lunches is like I never knew this as motherhood, that making school lunches is like the most excruciating thing, having to figure out what to eat for lunch so they can come back with their full lunch at the end of the
yeah,
day.
I just make my kids, I've always made my kids eat school lunch because I couldn't, it broke my heart too much to put in that much work and to get the food home every day. Like, that's it. Very
Well,
school food.
Brooke, this is an awesome conversation. I know you're going to continue to bring this type of education and value into the Mom Link community. Reminders of what self life actually looks like on a spiritual, energetic level. And I don't think we have enough conversation. I told you, like, this is I'm just getting into this type of work and really experiencing it. And it's very cool. I'm fascinated by it. It's something I never actually prioritized in my life in terms of my energetic health and how that contributes to my overall health and well-being and my self-love. So it's like huge. It's huge the work that you are doing, especially for female entrepreneurs, and really kind of reimagining what self-love looks like and actually giving us ourselves credit more. Because I used to say up until now and up until like this conversation, I feel like patting myself here. Yes, Crystal, you do a good job. You do some self love and self care. But before, I used to go around and say, I'm the worst at self care. I'm the worst at self love. I don't go for pedicures. I don't go for a massage. I don't go and do these traditional things. I mean, they're not traditional, these commercialized ideas of self love and self care. And I was only thinking about it in the tangible, materialistic, or physical way. I never thought about that self love or self care on a spiritual and energetic level, which is equally as important. So I love the work that you are doing
Yeah.
and bringing to this community and bringing this awareness. And I love that you call yourself the way shower. I think that's
Oh, that's
awesome.
a word that has taken a lot to be able to represent. But if you check out my Ascension Daily, you see, you might think I'm crazy. I don't know. But ultimately, what all I want is to help women find their way. If they want that pedicure, if they feel amazing from the pedicure, and every time they look at their toes, they feel amazing, then that's their self love and their self care. I don't want to go sit for an hour. I don't like it. You know?
Neither do I.
Right. So like you said, maybe it is commercialized, but at the same time, it's the specific reason that we're actually doing the thing that we're doing and really being okay with finding our way. What does our way look like? I don't know, because too many people were telling me this way, this way, this way, and none of it fulfilled me until I stopped and started listening. What do I want? What makes me feel good? And that, I dare you, right? Because our conditioning as women is never to do.
Our way. Never.
Yeah. But I'm
It is so
changing that.
true.
We're changing that with
We are.
and
We're changing that. We're bringing this to the Mom Link. It is about your way, discovering your way. And if you're listening in and you're wondering, like, I don't know my way, that's okay too.
yeah.
That's what this community is for. That's why we have women like Brooke in our community. So you can find your way and so you can get the support to get on that journey to finding your way and what works for you. Brooke, this has been an awesome conversation. We have our famous Connecting collab because it is Wonderful Women Wednesday. So make sure you're jumping on our networking room on Clubhouse. If you need the link, DM us on Instagram, Facebook. We're streaming from so many different platforms right now. So wherever you watch this live, every Wednesday, connect and collab and network with like-minded female entrepreneurs through the Mom Link. We are all about women supporting women in business, and Mom Link is here in 2023 for our members to leverage the Mom Link community and for Mom Link to invest in each one of you to build sustainable and successful businesses. Brooke, I appreciate you, and we'll see you around. Bye,
Thank you,
everybody.
Chris.